Welcome to the Agent Upgrade Podcast with your hosts Jasmine Cronetten and Alan Corey, where we learn the strategies of top producing real estate agents so you have the tools to upgrade your own real estate career.
So today's guest is Derek Wood. He's been in real estate for about 7.5 years, and I actually met him while he was managing a restaurant here in Atlanta. And so I've kind of followed his career from day one, from when he switched careers, got into real estate, and he did an amazing job doing the career switch thing. He wasn't the starving realtor, for the first year without any clients. And so I'm really excited to kind of dig into that with you guys and see how he made a switch and help anybody that's kind of in between careers looking to switch into real estate.
And that's really difficult to do. Like, I usually tell people, keep some sort of daytime income until you are successful, until you're on your feet as a real estate agent. Derek's like, nope, I'm diving deep. I'm going all in. Instant success. So we pick his brain on how he got that instant success, which I think is replicable. Is that, if that's a word? It doesn't sound right when I say that. It's repeatable. He lays it out very open and honest and transparent about his keys to success. And honestly, it's anyone can do it. It's Derek's the type of person that follows through and does it, right? And that is his special sauce. Is he goes, I know what I got to do each day, and I do it. I show up and do it, and I knock it out. And honestly, that's the hard work. He puts in the hard work. That's in a nutshell. But he lays out what that hard work is, and we learned so much from Derek. And he's grown his business here in Atlanta. Derek Wood, great realtor at Keller, Knapp Realty here in Atlanta. We talk about CRMs, your customer relationship database, how to be in touch with those CRMs, how to spend your first maybe $1,000 in the business, what where he would put that money, and also he tells how he spent his first $100, $200 in marketing materials and the success that he's had with that. And again, all of these are genius ideas that anyone can repeat in their own market, and you just have to be consistent and follow through, which is the number one key ingredient in Derek Wood's success.
Yes, is consistency. I feel like he mentions, and I have always felt this way as well. Like, if you get into real estate and you treat it like an 8 to 5 job, you're going to be very successful.
Yeah, and he's also grown it without a major team. He surrounds himself with contractors, and he makes some great points about why he does that. And I agree with him. Like everything he says is like, that makes sense. That's so logical. It's just doing it, right? It's just finding those people to put them in the slots so they can be experts and help you look good. And he's killing it out there. And I'm so happy that he's our guest today. I think everyone's going to learn a lot. So let's jump in and see what Derek Wood of Keller Knapp Realty in Atlanta has to say. Well, welcome to the show, Derek. Thanks for being here on Agent Upgrade Podcast.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So I know, Derek, you've recently joined the brokerage that I work at, but you've been at other brokerages around Atlanta. And I've known your name for a while before I personally met you. And I think I know your name from your excellent marketing and branding that you've been doing since you began in the business. But maybe we'll start there. What got you in the business, and how long have you been a real estate agent?
Been in real estate for about 7.5 years. I got into the business because I love real estate and I love working with people. And I was in the restaurant business for 15 years actually before that. Managed Taqueria del Sol as a GM for 5.5 years, and I just got along with people. And also at the same time, I loved looking at houses, and I love real estate. I just love that whole, pretty much customer service. I knew I was good at, and I thought it would be a great field and something that would be, sort of flexible, but and kind of, you put your time in and you get it out kind of thing, and running your own business. I thought it was a
did you have a period of your life where you're sort of doing the GM at the restaurant while a real estate agent, or did you make?
I made a clean cut. Like I talked to I knew a lot of agents that came in the restaurant, and pretty much they told me, if you want to do this right, you gotta start clean and put all your effort into it. And at the same time in my life at that time, me and my wife were expecting a kid, and she had a big corporate job, and I needed to be the one that was a little bit more flexible. And being a GM of a restaurant, you work, my restaurant, I work 6 days a week. And so if I was going to do this business, I really had to do a clean break and start running with it.
So I remember when you first came on the scene, when you first started doing real estate, and I feel like you did a really good job of you came in and you immediately had a huge sphere of people that knew who you were. So how did you do that transition? Like, I feel like you kind of like, you were not in real estate, and then all of a sudden you're closing like 15 deals. You're in real estate full on. So you didn't have like, that intro of like 1 or 2 years of flailing around that a lot of people do. So tell us about your magic sauce there. How did you manage that?
I hit it. I pretty much, right before I left the restaurant, I saw 600 to 900 people a day. I worked for a really popular restaurant in Decatur. So, and I got everybody's information, like all my close clients. I went and talked to them. Listen, I'd love to keep in touch with you. And I think it was important for me as I started as CRM pretty much right away, and started, calling people, let people know. I got their addresses. One of the first things I did was send out letters, a handwritten letter to everybody. Listen, I'm not Derek Wood in Taqueria anymore. I'm Derek Wood in real estate, and I do real estate. And I think that helped me out. And I just pretty much just started networking. And I think that's one of the things you should do right away when you start. To pick out your sphere of influence.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times when I talk to newer real estate agents and they're like in the restaurant business or something like that, I always think of you, because I'm like, Derek did such a freaking amazing job at just diving into the business. And so we've talked on previous podcasts, we've talked to people like, about like creating like your wedding list, these are all the people that you would invite to your wedding, and then just letting them know, like, hello, I'm in the real estate business now. And I feel like you did that. You hit that right on, because you took off. But I think you're super sociable, like super like people really like you, like even in the restaurant business, like you're just super outgoing. So your personality kind of probably fed into people being like, oh yeah, we want to help him. We want to help him succeed in his next thing. So you did an amazing job with that.
Thanks.
What are some of the first marketing things that you did? Maybe like stuff that you spent money on to sort of get your name out there?
Well, one of them, and kind of talked about before, is that when I was at Taqueria, I'd always have to buy pins. And you would, like, I'd buy probably 30, 40 pins a week, because everybody signs their checks. And so I went out and bought a bunch of pins and put my name on them. And the reason why I did that is because I knew at Taqueria people would be asking, where's Derek? Where'd he go? And there's my business card right there. So I went around to all the restaurants I ate at and gave them free pins, and it had my name, my number, all that stuff, and that sold me some houses.
Very clever.
So I got to tell you, before I knew you, I also listened to another agent podcast, and I went to go get a bunch of pins with my name on it, because you're always signing at the closing table with blue ink, so I wanted some blue ink pins so that at the closing table I could give some pins. And then I realized when I go to restaurants, I kept seeing your name everywhere. And then I was like, whoever this Derek Wood guy, screw him. So at every restaurant, I would pocket the pen that they give me, and then I'd leave my Corey Real Estate pen in exchange. And I had a collection of like 30 Derek
They write
Wood
well,
pens.
too. I got to make sure they write well. Like mine are really good.
He was sabotaging you, Derek. He was totally sabotaging you.
This guy is a good idea.
Because if they don't write well, you're going to throw them away. So if they write well, you're going to keep them. You see people with these pens, and they keep them forever, and that's what I want.
And I was like the waiter. I used to be a waiter and a bartender, and like I don't care what pin you use, just whatever. I'm ordering the next drink or whatever. So I'm happy for the bartender to put my pin down there, and sometimes I'd leave 3 or 4 on the bar or something like that. No one's going to throw them away because the servers are always looking for pins.
And then a client or customer might take it because it writes well. Like I want this pin. They'll steal a pin and they got my name in their house. They look at it every day.
Genius. Yeah. Genius. I love that. And sorry for sabotaging.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Don't worry.
He'll forgive you.
You kind of put that in your figures, when you look at it. I'm going to lose about 75% of these pins for no reason. And the other 25% I hope stick. Yeah. So,
he'll sabotage one of your ideas next.
Yeah. I'm above that now, but I'm used to not be above that. But
I love it.
I think, too, I'll tell you, too, I think is important. My grandma was in advertisement. She owned an advertisement company in Atlanta, and it started it in the 80s and 90s, and I kind of got that from her. She used to have these coffee mugs, and then she'd have magnets, and she'd have that. I think a big thing about real estate is having your name out there. You want people to see it all the time. A lot of people who look for realtors don't know realtors, you know what I mean? Or their friend used it or whatever. If I'm going to work this market, I want my name to, it needs to be everywhere. You know what I mean? I want people to know Derek Wood Real Estate. And I think a lot of reasons, like I said before, I want to get out of Derek Wood Talkery. I want to be Derek Wood Realtor. Yeah.
No, I love that. And that stuff works. Like I told Jasmine, like I don't remember, like the first time we did a deal, first couple deals, all of a sudden, like Jasmine team swag started showing up at my house. and like 5 years later, I realized like I drank out of a Jasmine team coffee mug. I got a water bottle, Jasmine team water bottle. I gave it to my son to take to soccer. And it was just because I'd open up a drawer, I need a water bottle. I open up a drawer, I need a coffee mug. And then I'm like, over time, I'm like, oh, yeah, Jasmine team. Yeah, that's, I'm going to use them.
Jasmine.
Slowly brainwashing you.
Yeah.
Well, calendars. I do calendars, too. I'll send out Derek Wood Sports, like Brave schedule, United schedule, all that, football schedule. I send that out, and that does well, too. I had a $1.1 million listing over in Columbia Drive from a lady who says, hey, I always get your magnets. I didn't really know anybody that sold around here, so I thought you did because your magnets are always coming to my house. And I they're paid for my advertisement, I think, for life for pins and magnets.
Budget.
Yeah, well, that's not a big budget. Like, you remember what you spent on your pins or your magnet budget?
I usually buy about 2,000 pins at once. They're about 23 cents to 20 cents a pin. So, a couple $100, just $500 or $600, and that'll last me almost a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. Magnets are a couple
I love
$100.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what I also do is I get some keychains with says Corey Real Estate on it. Yeah, and leave them in the lockbox. And then what I see every time at closing, the other agent is taking the keys with my name on it and giving it to their clients. And I'm like, yeah, thanks.
And you know what? They're gonna, and I think that's a great tool. And I'm looking into that because when they go to sell their house, they're going to be like, "This is the agent who sold this house. Listed this house. So they know the area." And they'll probably call them again because a lot of buyers agents, a lot of them, once they get paid, they're gone. And I think that's one of the most important things is staying in touch. Like I put them in a bucket, and I call them every 6 months no matter what. And I don't call them, hey, what can I do for you in real estate? It's more just being a friend. Can I take you out to lunch? Can I do that? And that's really helped me. And I'd say 3 or 4 more years of my career to get that sale and buy on top of that. So they sold that. They used me as their buyer's agent. So now I'm going to sell their house, and they're making the next step. They have another kid, or they're downsizing, or something like that. I think that's a great tool, is a keychain.
Yeah. And it's inexpensive.
Yeah.
It's a good way to get your foot in the door marketing wise. You don't have to pay all these internet leads or things like that. And I think that's a good first step if you're just starting out. Like that's easy in kind of thing.
I agree, and I think to your point, Derek, consistency comes really, really high. Like that's key in if you just drop off pens every now and again, it's not really going to have. But like, I feel like if they see you over and over and over again, so you kind of have to take on whatever the marketing initiative is. I feel like you have to take on a marketing initiative that you can stick with. Right? Don't take on like, you're going to have a birthday program and a this program and a that and a that, and then you do it once and then you never whatever you take on, you have to keep. If it's only pens, then do just pens. Don't try to do everything and then do it 1 year or one time, right? Because then they're going to come to expect your calendar every year, and if you let them down, they're going to be like, oh, well, that was a one-time thing.
100%. Any business consistency. I think that just really that'll in the long run you'll make it.
What are your thoughts on like how do you stay in touch with your past clients?
Well, I have a CRM called Contactually. I really like it. I looked at a bunch of CRMs. I started another CRM before that, and I forgot the name of it. But Contactually, I put them in buckets. So buckets are like you got severe influence, current clients, long-term clients, all that, past clients. So first of all, it dings me the second week after closing. I call them and I make sure everything's going well. And then it dings me again a month after and I call them. And after that, they're in the 6-month past client bucket. So I think it's important because I think a lot of people, when they first move in, stuff goes wrong. You know what I mean? They notice the inspector didn't know an outlet didn't work. So that's a touch base. As a realtor, I believe you are a tool for them. So if they need an electrician, if they need a plumber, you know what I mean, I'm here to help. I'm not here just to sell real estate. I want to be a part of your toolbox. And if you need me, use me. I know good painters. I know good roofers. I know, stuff like that. And I think that's what's good. If this answers your question, checking back in and seeing if they need that electrician, I'll send over my electrician. All that stuff. And that's another touch. You want to keep on touching them. Like you want to keep on, you want in the back of their mind that Derek Wood Real Estate. Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree. Those touch points are and to Jasmine's point, consistency. The Keller Williams book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, they basically say don't do any marketing like postcards or anything unless it's 6 to 9 months minimum. Because, one and done, I got it, I'm never going to remember. But if something's hitting my mailbox every 6 months or every 3 months or every year, then that person, is counted on as reliable and consistent, and you can track, what worked and what didn't work. But if you only do it once, you don't know if that was even a good investment. But if you do it 5 years, you're going to get that person 5 years down the line. Hey, you've been sending it to me for 5 years. Let's sell this $1 million property. So I agree that what you said, Derek, your consistency has been great for you.
I still remember like the first time, I had just become a loan officer. This was like early 2000s, and I had spent like what felt like a tremendous amount of money to me at that point. It was $500. I spent $500 and dropped some refinance cards that I created myself, copy pasted in it, and I printed them and I sent them out. And I remember I got 2 calls from those from those postcards that I dropped in my neighborhood, and I thought I was the king of marketing. Like I was like, oh my God, inconceivable! Like I got 2 refinances out of this postcard. And then I got busy closing the loans, and
we planted a seed.
I forgot to send out more postcards. But it was.
It's all timing, I think, because you like with mortgages or with real estate, like you don't know when that person needs to sell, or they're outgrowing their home, they're going through a divorce, and so it's just a way to be like, when you're trying to sell a house, a lot of times I don't want to think about a real estate agent. Oh, here's a flyer that showed up in my mailbox. Here's a pen I found at my favorite bar that I go to, and I always see this guy's name. I saw Derek Wood's name on the sign. It's the same thing. I get in the pen. That guy must be a big shot. I'm going to call him, kind of thing. I love it.
And that's a seed you planted, and that's a tree that sprouts, and branches go there, and you get more clients, and I don't know.
So how do you feel about, so now 7.5 years into the business, how do you feel that original sphere of influence, of all the people that you knew? Do you still feel like you are staying in touch with all of them? How many people do you try to reach out to like every year? Like what's what does your follow-up marketing look like for some of the sphere of influence people that you have?
Well, I talk to them every 6 months, no matter what. So every day I have contractually pops up of names I need to call. So for me,
that's awesome.
I don't know. It gives you a score. So you want to stay in the A's and B's, but it pretty much, I have a list every day that generates that I haven't contacted. When I do talk to them, I write notes in there. And anytime we go emails back and forth, it records that and shows we touch base. But if I call them on the phone, I write in what we talked about. Like if their kid wants, let's say a kid broke their leg or something like that, or they had a new grandchild or something. Next time I see them, I'll have that note in there, and I'll remember, hey, how's your kid's leg doing, or how's your grandbaby going? You know what I mean, doing and all that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, and I think with people. I mean, these are just not. These are clients, but you want a personal relationship with them. I mean, you want them to know you care about them, and I think that's knowing details about their dog's name or something like that's really important. For me, and it's worked for me. Yeah.
No, I think a lot of agents, and I have this problem, is that follow-up is difficult because you get busy, you put your head down, you're going to go show 10 homes today for 2 different clients, and you're like, I didn't have time to make those calls. How do you balance all the follow-up with what you got to do today?
It's tough right now. It really is. That's a challenge I'm having right now. And what I do is I try to make a half an hour or an hour a day, 15 minutes. I try to make 4 calls or something. I try to stay on top of that. It's tough. But at some point, you're right. It's going to be impossible to do that. But I'll just keep on trying. Maybe I'll reach out to him every 8 months or something. But if it's slow, I think anybody in real estate, this is a 9 to 5 job. So if you've got an app, if it's 4 o'clock, work till 5. You know what I mean, and make those phone calls. But it's tough. It's hard. Yeah.
Right. And I think you do a good job of when I first started, I would say yes to everything, and then I was driving 2 hours into a different town to take a listing appointment. But I feel like you've created sort of parameters for yourself that you work within, and so that you're an expert on a narrow area instead of just trying to be an expert under the sun. Is that an accurate statement?
So the last 1.5, 2 years, I pretty much, you got to work. You have to work. You have a family too, so you've got to be there. So, I'm getting so much business where I'm at now that I don't have to go to Lake Hartwell and sell a house. You know what I mean? When you first start, you take everything, but now you realize after a while, if you stick to one area and get to know that area really well, and you become the agent in that area, you're gonna do better. You're gonna do more. You're gonna be able to do more at once. You're gonna be able to show, like Corey, you told me, we talked a couple times, that you can, I could show 3 clients in one day instead of showing one client driving 2 hours that way and coming back. You could just handle a lot more. You could do more business and handle a lot more clients at once.
Right. But I also think if you're prepared, like you were saying in your CRM, like you could just print out your list in the morning before you leave the house. If you know you're going to be driving places,
100%.
You could knock out several calls on, every 20-minute drive here and there if you're together, if you've got your list printed out. Like the day before, you print out your calls for the next day, and then you get on the phone, and you still manage 15-minute call here and there. Even if you're driving, and you don't necessarily have to be sitting in front of your CRM, you could still make little notes on the paper and then plug it back in once you're at home. Because I thought that was the strangest thing. My husband always makes a ton of phone calls. Like, the moment we get into a car, he starts dialing. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is this? When I first got married to him, you're always on the phone in a car. He's like, dude, it's 45 minutes. I can talk to so many people over the next 45 minutes.
Or happy birthday. Just text them happy birthday. That's your touch.
Yeah, right?
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Yeah.
And I've used Contactually as a CRM. I really enjoyed it. And considering it's $69 per month for the lowest tier, but there's a higher tier for $120 a month. And I remember there's worries about, because Compass actually bought Contactually, and that they're going to share their data, and I don't share those concerns. From what I understand, I worked at Compass for a little bit when this purchase went through. Is they were just trying to buy the developers so that they could build Compass's new CRM. They don't care about your data, because honestly, like, if some say, Derek, I hacked into your system, took your CRM, and started emailing everyone would be like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to win over your business. You've already built the relationships with them and know the info. So the agents who may be listening to this and saying, I'm not going to use Contactually because now Compass bought the development team, I don't see the risk. I don't see the worry.
I called them. No, I talked to the people there. That's private information. They're not going to share that. That's what they told me.
Yeah.
So. And you're right. Even if they got it, they'd be like, "Who's this person?" You know what I mean?
Right. You're not gonna. No one's gonna switch over because I got their email. They'll just hit unsubscribe.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you another tool too I like a lot is MailChimp. I don't know if you guys have ever had experience with that. Pretty much. Get out to all your agents too. I think a big part of real estate too is having a good relationship with agents around you. And MailChimp, it's a great way to, or your clients, give them an individual email for Merry Christmas or something like that, and you could send it out to 1,000 people, and looks like it's coming from one person. I think that's another good tool. Yeah,
I use MailChimp as well. That's an email marketing program, and I love it because it also breaks down how many people open it. How long? How many times do they open it? Did they forward it on to someone? If I had 3 or 5 links in there, which links did they click on? And then I'd be like, okay, they like it when I put a link in that direction, but not down there. Or if I set up the link in this way, and so it actually makes me a better email marketer because I see the stats and the open rate, and oh wow, this person forwarded it on 5 times. I should probably call that person and just see, check in with them because obviously they're really engaged with that last email I sent, kind of thing.
It's a great tool if you like numbers and statistics. Exactly. And like I put a video up top, I'm getting more clicks than the video I put down the bottom. For new listings or anything like that too.
Yeah. So are these videos that you're just making just for your newsletter, or do you make the videos and other content than you put them in your newsletter?
I'm more. The videos are more about houses I'm listing and putting them out there. So I guess that's more to agents or to people. Like every time someone comes to the open house, if they write down their information, I get their email, and then I'll send them out. I've got houses coming up because that could have matched their criteria. But I actually, my open house this week, I had an agent say, "Hey, listen, I didn't know this was here. I didn't catch it, and your email." Got my clients to come to their open house, and they ended up throwing an offer in. It ended up working out, but it brought attention to my house, and I think that's a good tool to sell your clients. Listen, I've got 2,500 agents' emails, and I send it out to them. Or people that came into my open house in the past.
So let's talk about open houses. What do you do to prep for and host an open house that's been successful for you?
So I think open houses, first of all, are the number one way to pick up buyers, in my opinion. Besides working your sphere of influence. I do MailChimp campaigns, so I hit agents up. I hit all the agents in the area. Every time an agent clicks on an FMLS, you can reverse prospect, copy their email, and put it in your system. So I have over 2,500 agents' emails. I do that. I do social media posts. You can't do everything at once. So I think in real estate, it's big to contract out. I contract a social media lady that helps me out with that, and she puts out my videos. The first thing I do is I put new listing on my social media page, my Instagram page, and then Facebook next. And then Friday I put the video out, and then Sunday I tell everybody to come to my open house, and then that's pretty much what I do. And it works. It works. It definitely brings people in. And I ask my clients to share it to whoever that posted on their post, and then my wife always shares it to all her friends. I mean, it helps, I'd say.
Right. And would you agree, like, it doesn't necessarily help sell that one house, but what it does is it helps attract more buyers. So people may pass on the house, but, hey, I don't have a real estate agent, and I want to look for my next house.
Yes, and I think it helps, too, for, hey, Nicky did a great job of listing. I mean, he's doing videos, he's marketing it well. You know, and it brings your name out there. For me, I was Derek Wood from Taqueria. Now I'm Derek Wood Realtor. Now they start seeing me selling houses, and they're like, this guy knows what he's doing. Yeah.
Right. That's great. And is it just you now, or are you sort of trying to build a team out, or have you built a team out, or what are your goals moving forward?
I'm just me. I contract people. I contract a processor. I contract a listing. Help me with listing, put it in the computer. I tried a team. I feel like I like the contracting part, like contracting someone to help me, put social media, all that. It works well for me. And I've built a system with CRM, and then MailChimp. The person who does my listing processing helps me put in a MailChimp and set that up. A graphic designer, she's a graphic designer and helps me do really cool flyers and all that. You kind of go ahead. Sorry. I cut you off. I like to me, and that's sort of the way I've built my quote unquote team is you surround yourself with contractors, so you don't have a huge overhead in terms of expenses, and it's almost pay per deal, pay per listing, I would imagine, and you just work it into your cost. And if you're super busy, that person, you're going to keep that person super busy. But if you're slow, you don't have money coming out of your pockets. And to me, that's great, because then you focus and then you have time to make those calls in your database. Then you have time to take clients out because you're not spending an hour, prepping a listing. You've got someone who could do that for you. And two, it's you don't have to train the person. The contractor does this certain job every day, so they know what they're doing. They know what to look for. I mean, running restaurants, training a new person to come in all the time, and that's a lot of work. You got to look over a lot, your shoulder, and make sure they're doing their job. This way, this person has one task, and that's it. You know what I mean? And they're good at what they do.
Yeah, they're an expert at it. Yeah. So,
I guess my question is: at what point, how many transactions do you feel that you can handle on your own before you tap out, and you need to have somebody come in and help you? As an agent of some sort to either open doors or help you put together presentations, or at what point are you going to tap out and just not be able to handle all the business?
Process, start hiring contractors? Is that what you mean, or?
No, I mean, when is there going to come a point where you're like, I just don't have enough time in my day to take all these listings or to open all the doors that need to be opened, right?
I'm not there yet. I'm at 37 transactions this year, and I can handle that. So far, I'm good at that. I mean, I'm thinking 40 probably transactions is when probably I'm going to have to hire someone. Probably next year. Yeah, I'm not there yet.
And anyone who's doing 40 is an awesome number, but you're not going to get to 40 without contracting some of that work out.
It's working now. When I got to 20, I started needing help. So and that's when I started going the contracting way. I mean. Yeah, I'm not quite there yet. I haven't experienced that yet. So, but I hear the numbers 40. When I talk to Melissa, Wesley and Melissa, I try to, pick their brain. Brokers, I pick their brain all the time to see because they've been there, they've done it, and that's the number they told me is, listen, when you get to 40, you need to start thinking about it. And when I do that, I might bring on a new agent as a buyer's agent and help them out. You know what I mean? And kind of take a split, a little bit from what they're doing, or build it that way. But I don't think I'm more of a team. I think it would be more someone to refer off some of those, buyers that I can't handle.
Now, you recently switched brokerages. Was this your second brokerage that you're at now, or were you?
Yeah, I was at Golly Realty, great brokerage, Frank Golly, and came over to Keller Knapp this year.
Okay. And so, Derek, you were very successful at your previous broker, and now you're very successful at your new brokerage. What was something that you didn't anticipate as a difficult component, or something you didn't think about once you switched brokerages that maybe you would have prepared differently for?
I'm trying to think. I don't know if this answers your question, but I don't know. To me, I don't know. That's a tough one for me.
Like it was successful. Like you
Well,
had no
no, I
cons,
mean,
so that's
a
good.
broker. The real reasons why I switched broker. I love Frank. He's a great broker. I just wanted to kind of learn from a different aspect, from a different person, from a different a different company, and kind of learn how they do business and kind of put it together. I thought I could learn a little bit more, and that's the reason why I switched brokers. But and I don't know if that answers your question, but
no, it does. That's why I switched and I switched back. But it was only because I felt like, wow, I've learned a lot here. I wonder if there's another brokerage that can teach me something
100%.
different.
I think Frank Gall is a great broker. And I think Wesley Knapp and Melissa's Walken they're really good.
Yeah.
And very smart and talented people. And it's just it's another brain to pick and learn new ideas from. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. One thing I would always recommend, and a lot of times these new agents, is, you don't know if you're going to be at a brokerage forever. Try to create an email address that's just your name and not the broker name, because you're going to lose. Those clients you've been contacting, they may try to email your old email address and you're not there anymore. That would be my only advice.
100%. I just told a girl last week who's coming in. She's working for a company coming up, and I said, do your own email address, because I heard that from you, Corey. I thought that was a great point. Yeah, you told me.
And I think, it's not that much money. I feel like you should invest in your own domain name, right? Like whatever the name of your team is, have your own domain name. I mean, I do see even like real estate agents have been at it forever. They just have like a Gmail address, which I guess is all right. But at the same time, like, it's like $20 a year 100%. To freaking have a domain, right?
GoDaddy.
Like, it just seems that much more pulled together when somebody sees an email from your team as opposed to, a Gmail.
Yeah, it feels part-time. Like if you have a Gmail or Yahoo or whatever email address, to me that is possibly a step up than your brokerage address, because then when you move, you're not losing any contacts. But it does feel like you're a part-time agent, and just having like a domain that's your name or something like that, then you feel like, this is a legit business I'm dealing with, whether it is or not. You're still the same person doing the same amount of deals, but you give a different perception of yourself as a real
And even
estate.
if it's just like at derekwood.com, right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be like some real estate-y domain name. It can just be your name, but just the fact that it's a domain name automatically makes it seem like, okay, this is something legit is happening here, is how I feel about it.
I think that's a great point. Great point. I do. Because it makes you look professional. Yeah. It makes you look like you care, and you're bringing a brand, and you work a certain, in my opinion, you work a certain style. You know what I mean? You have your own style.
Yeah, and what I've done is to sort of the contractor route. Some of the contractors, I create an email address for my contractors, so when they send an email to my clients, it looks like, they're part of my team, but really I've hired them to just do a contract, and I just ask them can you send these emails out through my domain name? I think it makes me look larger than I am and more professional than I am. And also you can trust this email from this person, because a lot of times you get an email from a contractor in their business, they're like, Alan, who is this? Is this someone I can trust? And I'm like, yes.
Great point. Yeah.
And then I also feel like, I feel like some brokerages have amazing CRM systems that you can use, but I would say always have your own CRM.
Yeah, because if you use the broker provided CRM, very difficult to exit that brokerage and get your CRM data. I'm sure there's a way to export it and import it and stuff, but that's brokers provide that, so it's sticky, so you stick around.
And that's a whole new language you got to learn too. I mean, it's
right.
You get used to that, you stick with it.
Yeah.
If you were just starting out today, what would you say you would? What path would you take, or what would you advise maybe an agent who just qualified for a license last week? How would you spend your first maybe 2 months and $1,000 in this new business?
You only get 1,000.
Yeah.
I was just talking to a person today about that. He's getting into the business. First thing you do is I think what I did is you write letter to pretty much get your sphere of influence. Find a CRM, put it in, because like you said, if you keep on switching CRMs, those are more people you have to plug in. So go down your phone, look at it, plug in everybody's name that your sphere. I would buy obviously business cards. I'd write a letter, handwritten letter, and then put your business card in it and pretty much tell them you're in real estate. And then I'd start a social media account with your names. I would do Derek Wood Realty or something with real estate in it, something that they know you sell houses. And then do that. Also, I would make a calendar, and I'd mail it to all my friends with the year calendar saying, if your face on it and your name, information, I'm in real estate. I think hitting your sphere, and then after that, if you have some money left over, you need to pick a neighborhood where you live or where you stay at, and you need to farm it, and you've got to stick with it. I made a mistake by trying to farm these neighborhoods around me and not picking one neighborhood. Once I started farming a neighborhood and staying consistent with it, every year sending them Christmas cards, every year sending them, like I said, calendars or whatever. I'll mail them a pin with my name on it. You'll get business out of that. I'd say stick to a neighborhood and stay there and hit your sphere and start taking people out to lunches. If you have some money left over, take them to coffee, take them to lunches. You gotta, and don't go into it like I'm in real estate. Talk to them normal and they're going to ask you what you do, what you're doing, and you tell them you're in real estate and just kind of go from there. That's how I would jump into it. I would schedule lunch with everybody. I would send everybody letters. I'd call everybody and see when they had a good time to talk, have coffee or something, and pick a neighborhood and stick with it.
Can we role play
Sure.
real quick? Can you call me, Derek? And I want to hear what you say.
All right.
Hey, Alan, what's going on?
Ring.
Hello, this is Alan.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Hey, who's this? I don't have your number.
This is Derek Wood, man, from Taqueria. How you doing?
Oh, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in the restaurant the last couple of weeks. And
I changed careers. I'm in real estate now, and I'm working going to real estate. So,
wow, residential, commercial,
residential, and it's going great, man. It's Taqueria really helped me out. It jumped me right into it, and it's going well. I've got this great mentor, Alan Corey, and he's not or whoever, you know what I mean. They're really helping me out. They're holding my hand through the whole way through. It's really, it's working out. I don't know what to go from there. Hey, what are you up to lately? I'd love to take you out to coffee and tell you a little bit more about it, or just see how you're doing, how your kids are doing, and just see what you're up to.
I'd love to do coffee. I've actually got a neighbor who's about to list, so I'd love to hear more about your strategy, what neighborhoods you work, and bring some business cards, and I'll put it in my neighbor's
Sounds like a
house.
plan. Let's do it. When's your next availability?
Oh, good follow-up. As long as we'll just do it. Tomorrow?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
8
Let's
a.m.?
go. 10 a.m. Dancing goats.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for doing that for me, because I have a lot of agents that are sort of junior and new, and they're like, "What do I say? How do I start that conversation?" And sure, you're like, "Hey, I got a career switch," but you were like, "It wasn't all about you. You're asking me about me. What am I up to?" And then it's just a friendly call, like, "Wait, we're friends. Like, why would I not want to get coffee with a friend?" Kind of thing. And you're not selling a product, because I don't have a house that I'm selling right now. I'm not looking for a house, but you still want to meet with me. And then, I've got a neighbor who's selling, things like that.
And I think, too, what's important, too, is if you get into this business, you need to pick somebody. Like I had Frank Golly, where I could, hey, people are going to think you don't know what you're doing. And I think another thing, too, is you go in there and you kind of got to team up with somebody. Not team up, but more or less have a mentor. And that's someone you can, someone that they would know in the neighborhood that you can kind of lean on, or your broker or something, because people don't think you know what you're doing. So,
right.
And I kind of plug that in there. So.
I like that. And it's like you're not completely trusting me. You're trusting this big name that probably people would recognize, and I'm working with this big name. And also, if I don't have an answer to your question because I'm new, I'm going to go with this big name, and you're aligning yourself with some real estate experts, which in order makes you look like a real estate expert.
They can hold your hand. You know what I mean? If something goes on, I can call him in a second, and he'll answer the phone. Yeah.
No, that's smart. I would never have thought about that. Where you're new and you're nervous, and it could be the whoever your head
Wesley
broker
Knapp,
is,
Melissa, all that. I mean, that's what that's what they're there for. They're there to help you out, and any.
Yeah, or if you're on a team, that team lead, or you're not a solo enterprise operating in a vacuum. Yeah. It's, hey, I'm here, and I have these resources, by the way, to help me succeed. And I think the fact that you said that instantly gives you credibility when you're in a place where you don't have any credibility.
And then you got Jasmine can help you out. Any questions about I got a great broker that's been in the business for years, mortgage broker. She can help you out, stuff like that. You just use your tools around you. And call and ask them questions. Yeah. They'll answer it for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I definitely agree with that. And I think the most important part, I feel, that is that people just have to, you just have to get comfortable talking to people on the phone. I know it sounds super old-fashioned, and this probably, most people that are buying houses are probably 25-plus-year-olds, right, at this point. And I feel that a lot of people are just so scared of making phone calls. They can text you, they can DM you, they can send you an email, but people are so scared of picking up the phone. I feel that in our line of work, that's a real disadvantage. You've got to get over that
100%.
As quickly as you can. You just got to
get over it. You're not going to make it. You got to cold call.
Yeah, you know. Yeah,
So if I'm being sold something, whether it's real estate services or any product, it's easy to ignore a text message. It's easy to dismiss a text message, to glance at it. But if I've got you on the phone and you're talking, I'm like, oh, this is a human. It's not a bot on the other side. It's not something that, hit stop to unsubscribe. I actually have to say, hey, now's not a good time, or I'm already working with another real estate agent. But more likely it would be like, hey, wow, no other real estate agent's calling me. I get all these annoying text messages, but you're the one that's picking up the phone and wants to hear me voice to voice. Then I have a different respect for you. You're running a legit business, and you're not a spam business. Even though a mix is fine, calls and postcards and text messages. Yeah. But the fact that I've got you on the phone, I look at you differently as a real estate agent, I would think, or any product that you're selling.
And you got that personal connection or touch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I do feel in a way, you almost kind of have to go into it, just a little bit of telemarketing boot camp would do everybody really good. Until you've gotten hung up on 20 times and you stop caring, you kind of you really gotta you just gotta do it. Even if whatever you do, if you decide you're gonna make, you're gonna start creating content and putting it out on the internet, and you're gonna do 1,000 videos, the first 270 of those videos are gonna freaking suck, right? Yeah, and 271 is gonna be the one that gets 1 million subscribers or whatever, right? So you just gotta, it's a numbers game. You gotta pick up the phone, 9 people are gonna get pissed off, and that one person is gonna be like, oh yeah, absolutely, I wanna have coffee with you, or I was just thinking about selling my house. That's all it takes. You can't.
And with Derek, who started with a sphere of influence, those people aren't going to hang up on you.
Yeah,
they're going to answer the phone, right?
Yeah.
And then they're going to be nice and cordial. It's when you start calling strangers and cold calling where you're going to get hung up on. So it's actually almost easier when you meet with your friends and family. And then those first 20 coffee meetings, you're going to be nervous. You're not going to know what questions they're going to ask. But what you're going to realize is by that 20th coffee meeting, everyone asks the exact same questions. And then you're going to have this answer down for, what this and what mortgage lender do you use, or what's the first step, or my credit score is this. What does that mean? It's going to be the same conversation over and over again. You're just going to get better. You're just going to get the reps in, basically.
Or volunteer is another way to meet people. You can go volunteer for an organization because you're killing 2 birds at one stone. You've got you're helping out the community at the same time you're meeting people. Or if you go to coffee the same place every Tuesday with somebody else, you're going to start seeing the same people in there, and they're going to you're going to get to know people and also too, I think a lot of people are scared. You know what I mean? They're embarrassed or whatever. You got to get past that. You got to try it and sharpen your sword, and then after that you'll have that confidence. And I think people can see that, but you just got to go out and practice it. Anything you got to practice and do it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to jump on that volunteer. Of course, being volunteer any community event, the benefit is that event. But you're learning about that neighborhood. What's the transitioning in that neighborhood? probably the other volunteers are large, pillars of the community that now you've got face-to-face time with, and they're going to tell you, hey, we need to do this because, the clean out the creek or whatever. And then if someone wants to buy in that neighborhood, you could be like, hey, there's this great organization that I'm a part of, that I volunteer with, that's doing X, Y, Z to improve the community. It's a great place to buy. Like, you're just getting that local knowledge that's going to make you a better realtor.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So now that you are, 7.5 years into it and are a really successful real estate agent, what's really working for you right now? Like, what's the magic thing?
So, Jasmine, you're saying like what's working as a successful agent that maybe you didn't do or couldn't have done as a new agent?
Mm-hmm.
That's
exactly.
A great question.
Yeah.
I mean, what's helping me now is my signs are on the street a lot. I mean, people see me. I mean, just listings. I think listings, you pick up, people call you about the listings. You meet them at open houses. People always say, I see your stuff everywhere. So, I mean, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's bringing me the next step. When you list, you can handle a lot more listings than you can buyers. And that's where it's just free advertisement on the streets. I mean, and that helps a lot.
I think that nails it. That's the number one answer. Now that you've said it, it's crystal clear. Like, a successful agent has signs in the yard, and that's free advertisement in front of a house. It's a sign of success, right?
You know what you're doing.
Even though you haven't sold a house, you're successful. Yeah, you know what you're doing. It's a sign of expertise, and obviously a new agent doesn't have that. But that tool is the best tool in the game, is to have your name on a sign in the yard, 100%.
So has anybody ever tried just like putting signs in people's yards?
It's illegal. You got to get a listing agreement.
Disposable signs, just run around at night.
You can't put directionals. I think directionals are important too. Have directionals. I mean, like I learned from an old agent, and I'm trying to remember her name. She goes, every open house, touching the table again. Every open house, put 8 signs out to your open house. Yeah. Leave them out. I don't care if people take them. I don't care. I leave them out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And people see Derek Wood. Yeah, Derek Wood.
Yeah.
I mean, the most sign calls that I've gotten have been the houses that have been the most difficult to sell.
Yes.
Meaning that they're on a busy street, or they're just, they're ugly, but my sign is there, and I get calls, hey, I've seen your sign for 9 months every day to and from work, and now I want to list my home. And it's like, oh, great, I'm glad I didn't sell that one in a week, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Put a sign out as soon as you can. Like, before you put the post out, put one of those portable signs out until you take your pictures, and then put your post in. But, the longer your sign, I mean, yeah, you're right. Busy roads are great, but usually takes twice as long to sell a house. But it's great advertisement. And always have some way to go to a website, because people, they want to find you, and then on your website, obviously a landing page for you, and then you can tell everybody about yourself and what you do. Yeah.
Well, that's a good note to end on, Derek. Thank you for joining us on the Agent
Thanks
Upgrade
for having me.
Podcast. Yeah, tell us the website where people can learn more about you, your Instagram handle, anything else you'd like to share, social media-wise.
DerekWoodRealty.com. You can find me there, or you can find me on Instagram, Derek Wood Realty. So those are two great.
And that's DEREK.
Wood Realty. Yeah,
Derek Wood.
Yeah. Well, it was awesome talking to you guys. Well, thanks for having me.
This has been great. This is a masterclass on switching careers. People do it all the time, and you've been successful, instantly successful, I might
thank
add.
you.
So congrats on you. It's been fun to follow your career and steal your pens before I knew you.
Probably still writing with them at home, behind the scenes. Right?
Probably, yeah, I do.
I'll drop off some Waterstone pens for you to repay for his misbehavior.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
But, thanks for joining us today, and looking forward to hearing more from you in the future,
awesome.
Derek.
Thanks
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Agent Upgrade Podcast. If you are an agent looking for a new mortgage lender, start with Jasmine at jasmineteam.com. If you want to learn about real estate investing and working with investors, check in with Alan at thehouseofac.com. See you next time on Agent Upgrade.